What's up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with your Melterria podcast with a new edition of Species Spotlight, where I go talking about certain species of my tarantula collection that I have and kind of spotlight and talk a little bit about them and what they are, their feeding habits, uh, the setups, and the enclosures, how you would set them up, and what they deal with in terms of humidity, soil, all that. So this time around, I'm doing the Aphonopelma Seemanni, and I know I probably screwed up the name a little bit. Scientific names always get me. I'm up to 19 different species right now, so eventually I will get spotlights for all of them. So I'm still working them all in, but today, obviously, doing the Seemanni, which is also known as the Costa Rican zebra tarantula or Costa Rican striped knee tarantula. And gorgeous spider. Like most tarantulas, the males and females can sometimes differ in how they look. Sometimes they can be, like in this case of the Seemanni, it can be a bit brown. But for my female, she's got more of like a bluish tint to her, bluish gray tint. They're terrestrial spiders that like the burrow. One thing I'm going to be showing you a video from, I think, the Tarantula Collective, where he'll explain a little bit more about the spider itself. But one thing about the Costa Rican striped knee is that they do love to spend time in the ground. Mine does come out occasionally, but it's usually either drink or if she's actually really hungry and trying to search for food. But any other time, she's always in her burrow, and she does like to dig deep. I've seen at times when she's carved out this entire tube down there. So she is quite the digger, and she's one of those spiders that I have that if I have the water dish too close to the opening of the burrow, she'll just come and dump dirt and just pile it up. I'm like, what are you doing? This is your water dish. Quit doing that. But she's notorious for doing that for me. And it doesn't matter where it is. Like I can move the dish somewhere else and she'll still come out and just start piling it up. Sometimes she'll pile at the front door and I'm like, once I open it, all this shit's going to come out. It's like, come on. But yeah, so they have a slow growth rate. For mine, I think she wasn't really a juvie when I got her. I would say she was maybe a year or two when I got her. So I'm pretty sure that she's a female because she's molted about 2 or 3 times and I haven't seen any like hooks or anything. So it seems like I do have a female, but then again, with them being slow, maybe she's not fully matured, but she is almost the size of my hand. So it's not like she's small. Females obviously can live up to 15, 20 years, and males, in this case, these males will live maybe 5 to 10 years, so a little bit longer than some other males that I've had. Some males I've had only live a couple of years once they've matured out. But yeah, so let me give you this quick video here from the Tarantula Collective and let them know about the Costa Rican striped knee.
The Aphonopelma Seemanni, or Costa Rican zebra or striped-kneed tarantula, is a terrestrial New World species found in Costa Rica and Central America. When you think about Costa Rica, you may assume it's a humid and tropical environment, but there are different types of environments in this area. This tarantula is most commonly found in the northern areas that are warmer and much drier, typically living in the dry forests. Females of this species can live for around 20 years and reach maturity in about 5 to 6 years, whereas males live for only about 7 years, reaching maturity in 2 to 3 years. Females can grow to nearly 5 or 6 inches, with males being slightly smaller. These tarantulas will have a dark brown coat, complemented by bright white or beige-colored stripes running along its legs.
Yep. And so there you have that. So yeah, you mentioned the brown, and like I said, mine for Cruella, my striped knee. You could tell she's got a bit of a blue tint to her. as compared to the one in the video. But like most tarantulas, a spiderlings, you're going to feed them depending on how big they are. If they're very small, you would feed them like gnats or little fruit flies, work up the mealworms, and then of course superworms, and then of course eventually when they get as big as they are now, like with her, crickets or even dubia roaches if she wants to. She's not one to really go after roaches too much. Possibly if I had red runners, but because they're a risk to keep if they get out, like it causes a real problem in your house, I don't keep red runners at all. I just keep dubias. Even then, I haven't had dubias in a while because my spiders, for whatever reason, have decided that unless it's like really crawling around and getting to know them, like that's when they'll attack them. Like dubia would fill them up pretty fast, but males don't really give them a lot of nutrition because they have a lot of wings and a lot of shit that spiders don't eat. But then the females don't move as much. They go and they find like a little hidey hole and then they pretty much stay there. So unless you're tongue feeding them like a dubia, then that's one thing. But my spiders in general, they like to kind of hunt their prey. Sometimes I try to drop it close to them so they can get it, but most of the time they won't do that. But yeah, it's a very interesting spider. It's actually a very good beginner spider. Now, they can kick hairs. They can get defensive. In the time that I've had Corella, she was like one of the first two tarantulas I ever had. So it's going back 3 years ago. I've only had her rear up on me once, and I was like mainly because I was fucking around in her entryway to the den. And even then, she didn't slap at me. It was just like, she's like, back off, buddy. Don't mess with me. And so that was the only time I've had her. Any other time that I've opened the door or if I even come within range of her, she usually will just get skittish and run into her hole. She'd rather flight or fight. She just flights, she doesn't really care about fighting. And she's really never kicked hairs at me. Like, that's the interesting thing. I've had my Mexican red knee kick hairs. I've had my Brazilian black do it, but she doesn't really kick, and probably just because most of the time I'm not really messing with her because she's in her hole most of the time. So as those pictures there, that's one of the few times when I get her out of the den that I can actually take a nice shot of her. But outside of that, she's a great beginner spider, low maintenance. The only thing you shouldn't be concerned, but it can be a concern, is because she spends like these type of spiders will spend like months. Like she went one time for 4 or 5 months in her hole. Like, she didn't come out. And sometimes they'll molt during that time, but other times it's like they just kind of like being alone and just chilling down there. So I try to keep it now to where I can at least see where she is in there. Like if she's still, not dead or whatever. It's one of the things as keepers we get worried about, because whenever they disappear, we generally know why, but it's like when it's for a period of time, you're like, should I be worried? Because depending on the species, they don't always spend like super long down there, but it just depends on the spider, and they all have their own personalities. Like I've noticed that, like everyone's like Brazilian blacks are very docile, they're friendly. My male, he isn't aggressive or defensive, but very curious. And so like unlike my red knee, like he will like come at you, like not fly at you or attack you, but he gets very interested in what's going on. And so like it's weird to me when he does that, because I'll drop a cricket in there and he won't care about it, but if I'm tapping around the water dish, he starts crawling up. And whether he's trying to protect his territory or not, I don't know, but he's the one that's kicked hairs before, and I made a mistake of like scratching myself and it got me all itchy and whatnot. So you have to be careful with the new worlds. The hairs can really make you itch, and it takes a while because it's like little barbs. So if you ever have that issue with the new worlds where they're kicking hairs, or if you're dealing with their webbing, like if you're rehousing or whatever, wash your hands, because if you start rubbing on your skin, it's gonna start making you itch, and it's a really, really annoying. Not a good feeling. It's almost like you'd rather get bit rather than have the hairs on you, because it's just that crazy. But yeah, that's the Costa Rican striped knee, folks. I know my videos aren't very long for these, but don't really have to be. It's just a way for me to kind of show you a little bit of the spiders that I have. And this is one of them, one of my early ones. In fact, my first one was a pumpkin patch, and this one was my second one, next to the pink toe Danny Fragio I had at the time. I got a new pink toe now. He passed away a while ago, but she's still kicking and going. And yeah, very beautiful spider. Anyway, like and subscribe. Give me some comments. Do you have your own species like this? What do you think about them? Do they behave differently? Do they get defensive with you? Let me know. And I'll see you later on the That's All Right podcast.